So what's there really to talk about? I make a fool of myself. The theme of my YouTube videos is making a fool of myself. Basically because I don't have any skills or any talents. I've managed to become a 37-year-old male who's never worked, who hasn't worked for like 17 years. So I haven't picked up any skills in working or anything, or I've been living on my own for the last 10 years, nearly 11 years now. Basically, the only major event to ever happen to me where I could have made a fortune, but I failed, has been September 11. And what happened to me with September 11 is I rang News Talk ZB, which is like New Zealand's biggest radio talkback show in New Zealand. And I was talking during prime time with one of their most favourite hosts, Kerry Woodham, and I made a phone call all about war. And then 2 days later, the planes hit the buildings. Like, I basically laid my life on the line and called up whoever was listening to be ready for an attack and to make a stand. And at the time, I was just ignored. I was just written off as a crazy dude. But then the planes hit the buildings and it all made sense. I've been suffering for like 2.5 years. And by suffering I mean when I made the phone call. Sorry, I've been suffering for 2.5 years when I made the phone call to News Talk ZB. I haven't been able to get a copy of the phone call. Like, honestly, if I could put a copy of that phone call on YouTube, then it would probably pick up 20 million hits within a month. It would just be very popular, you know. So that it's been, I'm pretty sure it's been classified. They wouldn't have deleted it because it would have been too important to delete, you know, like it's part of history. You don't delete history. This phone call, it was about a minute long, maybe 45 seconds to a minute long. And it was all about war and the urgency of being ready to fight and making a stand, and laying my life on the line. You really have to hear the phone call to sort of hear how cool it is, to how well it fits in with September 11. But if I could get that phone call, if there was enough belief in that phone call, I could probably get 20 million hits in a month, you know, or less. It would be just that popular. It would be awesome, man. So how am I doing it, making a fool of myself? I guess I've lost you already. Most people would have switched off by now. But this phone call, you know, it could make my life. It could really genuinely set me up for life and financially anyway. Because I live in a rented flat on a benefit at the moment. I don't make very much money. All my money, every single dollar I earn is accounted for each week. I never have any savings. Kind of sucks. So, but if I could have 400 grand, my dad's a builder and my brother's a plumber, so I'd be able to build a couple houses, a couple small houses on the one bit of land. Do both houses at once, like little 1-bedroom houses, and one would be a rental, so I could have like $150 a week income, and one would be for myself to live in. I could have set myself up for life like that, you know. I should have just, someone offered me $1 million, I asked for $1 million, and someone rang up the radio station and said, yeah, I got $1 million for you, but I turned him down because it was kind of, the way he offered it was really offensive and stuff. It was really off-putting. I just thought it would be easy to just get money, you know, just into my bank account without any hassles. But it never happened. And I rang up about 3 to 6 months later after the September 11 attacks to get a copy of my phone call, and they reckon it didn't exist, you know, like they didn't have a copy. So, but the thing is, you don't delete history. It was just that important. And obviously the person I was dealing with didn't realise how important this phone call was, because it was important, and it tied in really well with September 11. And it needs to be heard by the overall public in the world. I'm making a complaint that this phone call isn't on YouTube. This phone call of about 45 seconds to a minute, all about war, 2 days before September 11, calling people to make a stand, laying my life on the line. Yeah, like, it's important. So, I believe it should be on YouTube. It should be on YouTube. It would set me up for life. But they're being really arrogant and really horrible to me, basically. They torture me with technology. Now they do. 14 years after September 11, they torture me with technology, you know, and it was all technology that sort of made me make this phone call in the first place. That's my testimony. I testify that it was technology that made me make this phone call. There was a man behind it with technology who was pushing all the buttons. So somebody knew about September 11, somebody with government technology to be able to manipulate minds and stuff, to be able to control people, mind control people and stuff. That's how I made that phone call. I'm going to make a half-hour video. This video is going to go for half an hour because that's the length of how long this camera records for before it cuts out. It's about 27 minutes or something it'll record for. I just made a video before about 27 minutes long of me playing guitar and stuff. I'm just uploading it right now. And this one I'm making about September 11 it's September 11, it's 9/11 day in America, and they don't know anything about this phone call. This phone call is kind of like evidence for somebody knowing about September 11 before it happened. Somebody other than the terrorists, like government people knowing about it. That was my testimony. If you heard the phone call, you'd believe me. You'd go, wow, that's really cool, man. And this phone call needs to be heard. It would make me a fortune. It would make me enough for a house anyway. And it would probably give me a career. It would give me a job for the rest of my life. Like, I'd probably open up a forum, have a small forum or something, have this phone call as the centre of this forum. It would probably provide it would provide me income for the rest of my life and work for the rest of my life, answering questions and doing interviews and stuff. I don't know, maybe not interviews, but operating a forum. The forum would be a small income. I'm just searching for money, I guess. I'm really searching for money because I live in such poverty. There's things need to change in my life. One thing that could affect me would be medicinal cannabis. If I could pay a lot less for my cannabis that I have to smoke in New Zealand. So that's another thing. I actually asked for from the September 11 phone call, I asked for a license to smoke weed in New Zealand. So, and they've granted all my other requests that I asked for. I won't tell you about them because they're a bit crazy, but they're on my website, www.darcylee.com. Just check the Osama bin Laden and the terrorist link. World Trade Center and terrorist link. I think it is World Trade Center and terrorist link on my page. Just check that, and then that'll explain a bit more about my rewards. But I haven't got any recognition. There's a duck. I'll show you the duck. You see the duck? Hey ducky. Oh, I haven't really got any food for him. I'll give him a couple of chips, but they're frozen, so you probably won't eat them. This is the only food I've got in the house, chips and sausages. What have I got down there? I can give him... Ducky! No, he didn't go for those. So if I could take advantage of my medicinal cannabis and my license to smoke that I asked for, if they granted me that, and cannabis, and they were subsidising my cannabis, so I was paying a prescription fee of $5 for 30 grams or something. Even if I was paying $50 for 30 grams. I mean, black market prices is about $300 to $350 for 30 grams in New Zealand. 28 grams. $300 to $350 for 28 grams. An ounce, they call it. Ducky. So 300 to 350 grams, so $300 to $350 for 28 grams, or I'll give him some noodles, got plenty of noodles. Oh, noodles. If I could pay a lot less for my cannabis, that would be awesome. I have a license to smoke in New Zealand where it's still illegal, but yeah, I think it's only in my house. I could only smoke it in my house. I couldn't smoke it on the streets or anything. Ducky. Yeah. No, he didn't go for the noodles either. I guess I'm going to bread. I should buy some bread next time for them. So that's 15 minutes now of video. Let's have a look. You can see the noodles out there. And you can see the chip. So yeah, things that would affect my life would be if I could have like my own house with like a small rental, like a small sleep out or something, so I can rent it out, so I can have an income that way. Extra $100 a week would be just really good, you know. I'll never be able to work again. I'm never going to work again in my life. I've never worked and I never will work. I just need to set myself up for life, you know, so I can be comfortable. And the September 11 phone call is something that can do that for me. It can set me up for life. But the government's being really offensive and like they're just denying me a copy. They're just ignoring all my emails. No one's communicating with me anymore. They never have communicated with me. They've never replied to in a single one of my emails. Well, they have, but you know they're not the important ones. They replied about banning tobacco sales in New Zealand, which I reckon they should do. But they should bring in medicinal cannabis. Tobacco's way worse than cannabis. I mean, cannabis still damages your lungs and still probably lowers your life expectancy, but it's worth it. And there's ways around that, like you could probably just eat it and maybe that wouldn't really affect you so much. You could probably eat it. Instead of just smoking it. I've been watching this guy called Joel Lioli on YouTube. He's pretty funny. Look him up, Joel Lioli. Custom Grow 420. I think that's his channel, Custom Grow 420. He's a real personality, but he's like a hardcore smoker. I'd like to be a hardcore smoker, but I can't get enough, you know. Can't afford my habit. All my spare money goes on it. It's only because it's illegal. If they took I eat sausages and chips 3 times a week. I eat probably chips 4 times a week. I eat pizza once a week, and then then one night, so I have pizza. I'll have chips and sausages 3 nights. Then I have chips the next night, so that's 4 nights. Then I have a pizza, so that's 5 nights. And then I'll have, probably on a Wednesday, I'll just have like cereal and chocolate and junk food, basically. Just eat, like, that Wednesday's my payday. But yeah, I'm really poor, and I think America sucks because they've treated me so badly, and people of New Zealand have treated me really badly as well. about this phone call. You know, this phone call is really important to me, and it's not just important to me, it's like important to a lot of people, because they want the truth. A lot of people want the truth about September 11, you know, and this is just another segment of the truth. It should bring to light a few things anyway, and the government should have some questions to answer. I think I'm going to call it there for now. I don't really have much else to say. Oh well. So yeah, I need medicinal marijuana so I can get it cheap enough, and I need my phone call on YouTube so I can get 20 million hits and be a productive citizen. Like, I could have a job from my home and make money just through the advertisements on the forum and stuff, and answering questions and making videos. I'd have a YouTube career, basically, an internet career from this phone call on YouTube. It would make me a little bit of fame. This is my last video that I made. It's uploaded now. Upload complete. Let's have a look. 27:32, the last one went for.
Wow, wow.
Did it. Let's read this out. The general theme to my videos will be to have no skills and no motivation, and to possibly make a fool of myself. Probably not in a humorous way though. I really don't know what to do for YouTube that hasn't been done. I think the theme of just giving anything a go and making a fool of yourself in the process should garner some views. I mean, haters gonna hate. So my videos are not exciting, so each individual video will never get heaps of hits. But if I upload heaps of different videos, then overall I should get more hits. In most videos I can't help but be branded stupid. Well, yeah, I'd like my phone call on YouTube so I can make some money and have a career, get my career started. Here comes the neighbours. Oh, I'm going to call it there. That'll do. See you all.